All right, I'm going to go over some of the work that we did today in class. So it's about slope-intercept form of equations. And slope-intercept form, just to remind you, is y equals mx plus b. And it's related to linear equations. So we have a line here on our graph. Finding the slope, you have multiple ways to find the slope. You can use rise over run. You can pick out the perfect points and make a table and do change in y over change in x. Or you can use the slope equation, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to show you how to do the first one. I'm going to use rise over run for this. So I make my right triangle, attaching my two perfect points. From the point on the left, I went down 3 and I went right 2. So my rise is -3 and my run is 2. And when I put that together, rise over run, it becomes -3 over 2. So that is my m, which is my slope. Now your y-intercept is the place on the graph where the line crosses the y-axis. So your y-axis is your vertical line that goes down your graph. So you're looking at what place does the darker black line meet that y-axis. And they cross right here at 4. So our y-intercept is 4. And think of that word intercept. That's intercept. They meet there. They intersect. And then we put it together in our format of y equals mx plus b. So we start with y equals, instead of the m, we replace it with the slope, -3/2. We put the x, and then we put the y-intercept. So that is +4. Okay, so that's how you do the first worksheet. All right, the second one is a little bit different. I've given you the slope and the y-intercept. You're going to make the equation and then graph it. So let's walk you through. I'm going to walk you through 2 of these, I think. Yep. Okay. So our equation, I'll just write it up here so we remember, is in the format of y equals mx plus b. So they start with y equals. Next comes our slope. Our slope is 1/5, followed by x, and then the y-intercept. So you can write this 2 ways. You can put plus -2, or give myself a little more room, y equals 1/5 x minus 2. They are both correct. So you can have y equals 1/5 x plus -2, or y equals 1/5 x minus 2. Now when we graph it, the first thing you want to look at is the y-intercept, -2. So you find your y-axis right here, and you find the -2, and you make a point there. So that tells you that the line that we're going to make has to go through that point. It's a perfect point. The slope tells you the steepness and the direction of the line. So I know it's positive. It's a positive slope, 1/5. So I'm going to have a positive line, and the steepness is determined by the rise and the run. And the 1 is the rise, and the 5 is the run. So from my y-intercept, where I put the dot, I'm going to rise 1 and run to the right 5. So up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a point there. Now I have 2 perfect points. When we make our line, Numbers continue across the whole line, whether I have perfect points there or not. So you're going to take your ruler, always make a line with a ruler, not freehand. Take a ruler or something straight, something like a book even or a binder, and go all the way across from edge to edge of the graph. Okay, so I did that one with you or for you or with you. I'm going to do number 3 as well. So same thing. If I have a slope of -2, that is the same thing as saying -2 over 1, because anything over 1 is just a whole number. So we start to build our equation. Starts with y equals. Next comes the slope. You can put -2 or you can put -2 over 1. They are equivalent. Followed by the x, and then the y-intercept. So in this case, it's positive, so we're going to put +2. When we graph this, we start with the value of the y-intercept and put our first point there. So here's our y. I find +2 on my y and make a point. Now my slope is my pattern from my y-intercept. So my -2 is my rise, my 1 is my run. So a -2 rise is actually going down. So I go down 2, 1 to the right, make a dot. Well, I have plenty of room on this graph, so I'm going to keep on going. Down 2, make a point. Down 2, 1 to the right, make a point, and then I'm off the graph. Take my ruler, line up my points, and connect my line. And you notice again, my line has gone from edge to edge of the graph. I did not just have a small piece of line segment right here. I went edge to edge. And just double checking, okay, I have a negative slope, so my line should be going left to right. It should be going down, and it is. It should cross the y-axis at 2. Here's my y-axis, and yes, it crosses at 2, so I'm in good shape. All right, and the last one. All right, I'm going to walk you through a couple of these problems and see how it goes. Get you going here. So I'm just going to write over here, just to remind myself again, it's y equals mx plus b. The m in this case is here. It's 1/4. The b is this whole part of the rest of the equation, which is -1. I have a y-axis and I have an x-axis. My first point is related to the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is -1. So I look on my y-axis, I find -1, and I make a point. From there, my constant rate of change, which is my slope, is based on the slope. So I have 1/4. The 1 is your rise, so that means up 4. My run, I'm sorry, oops, that's my y-intercept. My run is 4. So my run is always 4, well, to the right. So this is 4 right. Okay, so let's take a look at that. My first point was here at the y-intercept. All right, 1/4. Up 1, 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, make a dot. All right, then I'd be off the graph. Okay. I'm going to make another point just because it's easier to do a line if I have 3 points. So I want to go in the reverse direction of the slope. So it was up 1, 4 to the right. So I'm going to go down 1, 4 to the left and make a point there. I haven't changed the slope. I have just kept a constant rate of change. So let's see. From edge to edge, connect my line. And if I want to test it out, I can come over here at the point on the left. Up 1, 4 to the right. I'm back at the perfect point. Up 1, 4 to the right. I'm at the perfect point. All right, let's see. What other one? I'll do number 2. So my slope here and my y-intercept. My slope is -1 and my y-intercept is +2. So I'm going to make my first point at +2 to indicate the y-intercept. And now my pattern for my constant rate of change is based on the slope. Anytime you have a whole number, that is equivalent as a fraction to the whole number over 1. Because any number divided by 1 is just itself. So my rise is -1. Now a rise of -1 is going to go down. So down 1, and a run of +1 is to the right. Down 1, to the right. Down 1, and I can keep on doing that pattern the whole way so I can get a really good accurate line. And again, I take my ruler and I extend my line from edge to edge. All right, hopefully that gets you started on this, and see you later.